Hello and welcome back to Spoilers Ahead with Anthony Post. I'm here talking about the limited series Pam and Tommy, which just wrapped up on Hulu. This show stars Lily James, Seth Rogen, Sebastian Stan, Taylor Schilling, and Nick Offerman, and details the true story of what happened at the dawn of the internet when this real-life sex tape of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee was taken from their own home and was able to spread throughout the world, and how that affected Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's real life. So upon watching the finale of the show, it kind of made me reflect on the series as a whole much more drastically, because I kind of realized that it didn't really have an overall burning sense of purpose. During my viewing, I was expecting the show to have more ideas and to say them more effectively than they end up doing. When you get to the end, you kind of look back at a show that you realize was very shallow in terms of what it was saying. A lot of the ideas that it explores and are admirable subjects to depict in terms of women's role in the media, the differences between men and women in the workplace, but also in culture, the exploration of the dawn of this new industry and the internet, and also trying to redefine yourself in the public sphere. All worthy topics for a series. But the show, I don't think, actually engages with any of these discourses in a meaningful way, in any way that you'll remember. It very much feels like this is a retelling of their Wikipedia page, because it's only interested on surface level, because it does feel very meandering. I think this probably would have benefited from being a movie, because a lot of the side plots that aren't related to Pamela Anderson just don't connect as much. And so the whole thing feels very vacuous. Now, I will say, Lily James is spectacular here, and I think she provides the show with a lot of dignity and integrity that it so desperately needs. She is able to do a lot with the more showy scenes, the one when she's yelling or she's getting upset, but her quieter moments and her happier moments too are just as impressive. She has really been growing as an actor, and I think this is maybe her finest work yet. And it's not just through the prosthetic, which are really well done here in terms of transforming her into the look of Pamela Anderson. She brings a lot to the performance, and whenever she's on screen, the show just illuminates to life. She brings a lot to every single frame, and I think she is a great scene partner for all of the actors here. Sebastian Stan is, he's having a lot of fun with this role. As the show winds to its end, he gets to play, I think, a lot more interesting character moments, and he just gets, I think, better written scenes, and he does nicely with them. As far as the craft of the show, it adopts a lot of the filmmaking techniques that we've seen in Craig Gillespie's work or Adam McKay's work, but I don't think it has the same pop that those works do. A lot of times the camera will zoom in quickly on an actor, and for me it devalued a lot of those scenes because it was pulling attention to something that I think would have been left better if it was a more organic flow to the scene, instead of just pushing in on the actor's face as if telling you this is important, instead of just trusting the actors to impart that with their performance. The editing and the transition specifically it's very odd. A lot of the times, I think on average 3 times an episode, it'll just cut to black as if it's a commercial break. Like it was building up to this cliffhanger, and then it'll cut to commercial like it's on cable TV. But this show was made for a streamer. And what's odd is that these cuts to black will happen within a singular scene. So it just really messes with the rhythm of a lot of the show, because these cuts to black just take out the tension of even scenes that are different. A lot of the momentum is lost with this editing choice. And then, of course, I think what this show will be remembered for is the fact that Pamela Anderson did not give her endorsement to this. She was not involved, and she kind of doesn't like that this show even exists. Where I think that I don't need media to be a moral standard at all times. I don't think, characters in film and television should be role models. I do think that there's a basic morality that should be felt in the production and when you're creating something. Because there's something hypocritical about a show that is all about a non-consensual invasion of privacy being just that. And I don't think that the show does enough with what's there and doesn't engage in any meaningful discourse to justify its existence. I think Lily James gets close. I also think there are some structural choices that add up to the series' shortcomings. The first episode is told from the point of view of Seth Rogen's character, Rand Gautier, who plays the person who stole the tape and is the whole reason why this tape, this private property, got out there in the first place. And he is a major character throughout this show. And the fact that we spend so much time with Rand and that Rand is almost given a redemption arc by the end of the show, it kind of feels uneasy because Rogen was an executive producer here, and it feels like he was just putting in these scenes to give him, a spotlight, especially in a show where that character shouldn't really be spotlighted. Like, if this is all about the invasion of privacy that happened when Rand took that tape, why is it that the show decides to give him the same respect in terms of narrative time and also emotional catharsis that they give to Pam? It's a very odd choice. You would have just hoped that a show that could have been very challenging and been a great conversation piece about women's role in the media, in the end is undercut by its own hypocritical lens that keeps it from actually doing any of the good that it says that it's doing. So that's my review of Pam and Tommy. Let me know, did you watch the show? What do you think about it? And also, what is your opinion on kind of the story around the show? Do you think it should have been made? How do you feel about true story adaptations in media? And what do you think about Pamela Anderson? I mean, she's doing fine, I think. She's putting out her own Netflix documentary, telling her side of the story. She's going to be doing a couple weeks in Chicago on Broadway. So I do think, I'm happy that Pamela Anderson at least has been, if this show kind of allowed her to tell her story on Netflix and to kind of have another revitalization of her career, then I guess that's a silver lining. I'm always going to look for it. But let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any new videos from Spoilers Ahead with Anthony Post. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you at the movies.